When the world saw animals as soulless creatures, Aristotle saw them as mirrors of life itself. On the coast of Lesbos, the morning was still damp. The sea breeze carried the scent of salt, and Aristotle sat among the rocks, watching a squid writhing slowly inside a wooden bucket. He wasn't merely looking at the creature, he was reading it. Every movement of a fin, every shift of color, to him, they were words in a language humanity had not yet learned to translate. He wrote meticulously about fish that guarded their eggs, bees that danced to show direction, birds that migrated without clocks or compasses. To many in his time, such things seemed trivial. But to Aristotle, observation was a form of prayer, a way for humans to understand the wisdom of nature without speaking to the gods. He believed true knowledge wasn't born from lofty ideas, but from seeing with conscious eyes. He turned every animal's motion into a lesson about life, about order, purpose, and balance. He wrote, "Nothing lives without a cause." From those words, science began to take root, not from the heavens, but from a fish swimming in the sea. While the world debated the nature of the soul, Aristotle had already found it, in the gaze of a small creature breathing in silence. On the island of Lesbos, the sea was more than salt water. It was a living library, and Aristotle was its first reader. At dawn, Aristotle would walk along the shore, carrying a papyrus scroll and a small bronze knife. One by one, he opened the bodies of fish, octopuses, and shellfish, not with disgust, but with burning curiosity. Every shape of gill, every difference in color, he recorded them all. He believed nature creates nothing without purpose. He discovered that marine life followed patterns, that anatomy wasn't merely flesh, but a hidden message from the Creator about the world's design. For the Greeks, the sea was where the gods dwelled, but for Aristotle, it was a primordial laboratory, one that revealed the logic of life. 2,000 years later, modern scientists would find that Aristotle's notes on octopuses, their intelligence, their nervous systems were astonishingly accurate, written without any instruments. He had already glimpsed the future, using only his eyes and his pen. In a world without microscopes, Aristotle found truth not in laboratories, but in whispering leaves and running animals. He believed nature was the true teacher, not books, not men, but the world itself. He sat beneath olive trees, observing birds building nests, ants carrying seeds, horses interacting. He saw not merely behavior, but patterns. Every movement had purpose. Every creature was a puzzle that, when solved, revealed how nature itself thought. Others called him mad. "Why does a philosopher stare at animals?" they asked. But Aristotle smiled. He knew, within that simple life, there lay a logic far more honest than human rhetoric. And there lay the wonder. Those animals never spoke, yet through them, Aristotle heard the purest voice of truth, nature thinking without words. Each time Aristotle sliced open an animal, the world thought he was cutting flesh. In truth, he was dissecting life itself. In a small room lit by torchlight, Aristotle examined a stingray. He noted every vein and muscle, comparing them to birds, reptiles, and humans. He wasn't merely observing, he was asking why. Why are fins different from wings? Why does a sea creature's heart beat slower? For Aristotle, every incision was proof that nature worked with design, not chance. He rejected myths, rejected random gods. He chose truth that could be touched. Ironically, the knife he used to open an animal's body became the blade that carved the path. For modern biology, when rhetoric failed, Aristotle turned to the one thing that could not lie: nature. In an age of endless debate and hollow philosophy, he refused to speak without evidence. He recorded facts, the number of teeth, bone structures, sleeping patterns of animals. He said, "Theory must be born from observation, not from pride." He knew logic without experience was a sandcastle, beautiful, but doomed to collapse with the first wind. So he combined the two, writing the earliest known system of biology. Even today, science still stands on that same foundation, without realizing it. Every modern experiment is an echo of a man from the 4th century before Christ. They mocked Aristotle. "Animals have no logic," they said. But he knew, even silence can speak. Many of his fellow students at the academy rejected him. They said animals acted on instinct, not reason. But Aristotle disagreed. He said, "Animals have purpose. It's just not the same as ours." He proved it through months of observation. The movements of bees, the migrations of birds, all revealed a logical pattern. Thousands of years later, the science of ethology was born, and the world finally realized animals do think. Aristotle knew it, long before we dared to admit it. Sometimes, a reflection in water can be more honest than a mirror. Aristotle found that truth in a quiet lake on Lesbos. He watched the fish swim and realized something profound. Life is always moving toward its best form. He wrote of entelexy, the idea that every being strives to fulfill its own perfection. For Aristotle, a fish's movement wasn't mere instinct. It was the journey toward its natural goal. And from that simple insight, the foundation of evolutionary biology was born. 2 millennia before Darwin, every stroke on his papyrus was a shadow of the future. Aristotle never knew the word biology, but from his observations came classification systems, comparative anatomy, and the scientific method itself. He recorded over 500 species, with astonishing detail for the naked eye. Without realizing it, he was writing the first book of life, one humanity would only begin to read 2,000 years later. Today we have laboratories, microscopes, and AI, yet one thing remains unchanged. We still learn the way Aristotle did, by observing the world and listening to what it says. He would sit alone in a meadow and hear something most people never could, the sound of order. Aristotle didn't wait for inspiration. He waited for silence. In that silence, he found cause and effect. In the motion of leaves, he found the rhythm of logic. He wrote that everything in the world has a purpose, and that purpose can be observed. Nothing is random. Nothing is meaningless. What we call the scientific method today was born from that silence, from a man who believed nature speaks only to those who are quiet enough to listen. He left no kingdom, commanded no army, wrote no sacred book. Yet the world still moves according to his way of thinking. Aristotle died in Chalcis in silence, but his notes lived on, through the Library of Alexandria, through Arabic translations, through the rebirth of Europe. From dark monasteries, through the hands of scholars, modern science emerged, all from one simple act, observation. The animals he studied are long dead, but his mind still moves in every experiment, every observation, every question we ask the world.